Ever wonder what really goes into a product pitch? You know, how they're designed to draw you in? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on one for a product called Balmorex Pro. We're going to deconstruct their online presentation piece by piece to see exactly how they build their case.
Okay, so boom, right out of the gate, they hit you with this huge all-in-one promise. Complete support for healthy joints, back, and muscles. It's not subtle at all, right? By being so direct, they're basically shouting out to their target audience. If you've got issues in any of those areas, you're immediately thinking, okay, you have my attention.
And look how fast they switch from that big promise to what the product is actually like. They're not just saying it works, they're telling you how it feels. Deep penetrating, non-greasy, fast-acting. These words are chosen carefully. They're tackling all the common complaints people have with creams like this. It's a really smart way to build some trust right off the bat. So this first part is all about setting the stage, building up that big promise. Let's really get into the nitty-gritty of the claims they're making to reel you in. Then they switch from how it feels to how safe it is. You see stuff like pure, clean, and effective, and 100% free of chemical coating. But the real genius move here is this last one, safe to use with other pain relievers. That's a huge deal, right? It just removes a major blow block for anyone who's already taking something else for their pain.
Okay, so they've got you hooked on the promises and feeling pretty safe about it. So what's the next logical question? Yeah, but what's in this thing? And that's exactly where they go next, diving into the formula, the ingredients, and how it's all made.
So get this, it's a 27-in-1 formula, but they only spotlight these 8 ingredients. And it's a pretty smart mix, isn't it? You've got names you know and trust like aloe vera and ginger sitting right next to these more, sciencey sounding ones like MSM and Arnica Oil. The idea is to make it feel both comfortingly natural and powerfully effective.
And to make you feel good about those ingredients, they drop this line. I mean, they're name-dropping the USDA and the FDA. It's a classic move, really. They're borrowing the trust we already have in these big organizations to make their products seem legit and super high quality. So we know what it is, we know how it's made. Now what? Well, now they pull out the big guns, social proof. This is where they shift from talking about the product itself to telling stories from people who've actually used it. Let's check out the stories they chose. This first one, it's all about emotion. My whole body feels 20 years younger. See, it's not even about a specific ache or pain. It's about this huge transformation, about feeling young again. It's aimed right at anyone who feels like age is holding them back. Then for the next one, they changed tactics a bit. It's less about the feeling and more about empowerment. I'm no longer scared of chronic pain. That's powerful language. They're targeting the fear that comes with long-term pain, and they're promising you'll get your control and your freedom back. And this last one just brings it all home. It hits the two things everyone wants, a real results and getting it fast, pain-free and in almost no time. So if you look at all three, it's a perfect combo. Feel younger, be free, and get it done quickly. Really smart. Okay, so now you're feeling good, you've heard the stories, and you're probably thinking, all right, how much is this going to cost me? They've built up all this desire, and now it's time for the big reveal. But of course, they don't just throw a price at you. They frame it as this incredible offer. And get this, before you even see a single dollar sign, they start throwing in these free bonuses. 2 eBooks. This is a classic sales tactic called value stacking. You just keep adding more and more stuff so that when the price finally does show up, it feels like a total steal in comparison. And then, here it is, the pricing, laid out in 3 options. And this setup is totally by design. They put the single jar up there at $79, which feels kind of pricey, right? That's the anchor. Then your eye moves over to the 6-jar pack, and suddenly $49 a jar seems like an amazing deal. It's all about guiding you towards that bigger purchase. We're almost at the finish line here. This is the part of the pitch where they try to squash any final doubts you might have. And the tools they use are a really solid guarantee and a few key questions from an FAQ. They just flash this big number at you, 60. That's it. Simple, bold. They want it stuck in your head. But what's it for? And there it is, the 60-day, 100% money-back guarantee. The whole point of this is to flip the risk. Suddenly, the pressure isn't on you, the customer, anymore. It's on the product to prove itself. It makes clicking that buy button feel a whole lot safer, doesn't it? All right, let's look at the questions they answer, starting with the biggest one on everyone's mind. Is this actually going to work for me? And their answer is pretty slick. They kick off with a ton of confidence, talking about their thousands of customers. But then they cover their bases. By saying natural ingredients might take longer for some people, they're basically managing your expectations. It's a way of saying, hey, give it a real shot, which also encourages you to use it for longer.
Okay, next up is a question that's super practical but easy to forget about. Privacy. How's this going to show up on my bank statement?
And their answer here really shows they know their audience. The charge just says CLK Bank. It's totally discreet. They get that you might not want to advertise your health purchases on a statement, and thinking of that little detail actually builds a surprising amount of trust.
And the last question they hit is a big one that scares a lot of people online: subscriptions and hidden fees. Is this going to be more than one payment?
And they come back with a clear, simple no. It's a one-time payment, period. By making that crystal clear, they just erased one of the biggest anxieties about buying things online. It's a really strong way to close things out.
So there you have it. We've just walked through their entire sales narrative step by step, from that first big promise to the ingredients, the stories, and all the little moves to make you feel safe buying it. Every single piece was designed to lead you to one place. So the only question left, and I'll leave it with you, is this. Now that you've seen how it all works, are you convinced?